Good evening. I'm going to call this meeting to order on August 5th. Jack, that's for you. Karen, can you please do a roll call, or if there's still audio problems, maybe Mason can?
Let me know if you're getting feedback.
Yeah, we're still getting the echo. So I can do the roll call. Yes, Councilmember Reardon.
Here.
Councilmember Sirik. Councilmember Ginselman.
Here.
Councilmember Swift. And Councilmember Feist is absent.
Could you join me and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? That takes us to the public forum. At this time, the public is permitted to address the city council on items not appearing on the agenda. Comments may not exceed 5 minutes. In accordance with state law, however, no action or discussion may take place on any item not appearing on the posted agenda. Is there anyone who'd like to comment on an item not on the agenda? There's nobody here. Item 4 is the city manager's report.
I have about a 2-hour city manager update since we had such a short meeting.
Just have a few things on your mind. Huh?
Yes. So quickly, and sorry if you guys, there we go. Yeah, so hopefully you guys have seen Ora Madre. It's not done, it's almost done. And gotten some feedback. People are worried about the edge on the school there. There is a plan, so that's what's happening later this week. They're putting mixed base kind of rocks and things there to bolster the curb, so that when people park on the edge there, they're not going to break the side of the road. But other than that, it's done. We cambered the sewer line there. We ended up putting in additional, I think, replacing an additional 200 feet of sewer line. It was asbestos pipe that was broken, cracking. And we also redid the crosswalks in front of the school. And again, we had this new striping machine that went back and forth to manufacturer, and we figured out how to get better at doing the striping. We were having an issue when we would shut it down. There'd be like a blob of paint at the end, but so hopefully we figured that out. In terms of the budget, Mason's already busy on the audit for the previous year, going back and forth with the auditors. I've been talking to some grant writers, close to making a decision there. And then the filing is all completed with the county for Measure P. So, the mayor and vice mayor wrote the for argument. I think there was no against argument submitted, which is good news. Personally, I've been spending a lot of time on wastewater. I met with this company, Schneider's a major construction company, and just talk about financing and kind of picking their brains a little bit. Some of these are ARSA updates, but I thought I would start to share those with you guys just so you're up to speed. So there's a freshwater diversion in the middle of Sutter Creek near the wastewater plant that is rarely, if ever, been used. But as part of a legal settlement in ARSA, we agreed to fix that diversion. So now that the creek is dry, we're able to get in there. And it's basically valves that pull in fresh water from the creek and shoot it down the ARSA pipeline. And so we're in the process of figuring out what needs to be repaired and what that's going to cost. We've also,
Tom, I'm sorry, was that an unknown until this moment, so to speak?
We agreed that we were going to fix it. Yeah, and we haven't been able to see what it looks like until the water got down low enough.
So there's nothing in the budget to.
We did budget money for it.
Oh, cool.
In the ARSA budget.
Oh,
In the ARSA budget.
Oh, good. Okay. Thank you.
We also, with ARSA, there were outstanding invoices for like a year and a half from, well, basically all parties stopped paying each other during the lawsuit.
Right.
And so came to an agreement on that, and the ARSA board will be voting to approve that, and that will also come out of the ARSA budget. I also had a discussion with the Regional Water Board on our ability to discharge into the creek. And again, they've talked to Sutter Creek on and off over the years. It's definitely possible. It's just going to drive the cost of a treatment plant. There's more stringent testing, more frequent testing. From their perspective, it doesn't really matter if we discharge all year round or not. The standards are the same.
Mm.
So, and then ARSA also got some requests from the Regional Water Board to work on a water balance along with ION and CDCR. And so I've been going back and forth with our consultant, starting to work on that.
On that one, Tom, are you working on our part or are you working on the answer from the three parties together?
So all three parties requested 120 days to do their individual parts. And then they requested that after the water board gives comments on those, that we'd have another 90 days to do the joint one. So it's really starting on ours. I don't think it's going to take that long. There was actually a diagram of the system, which was incorrect, and everybody seems to have a different view. So we're starting there and trying to make sure that kind of what actually is happening is documented.
Mhm.
And then on the economic development side, I listed Broadmeadow here, but it's 10 single-family homes. It's coming to you guys at a special meeting on August 29th. And then we formally had submission from the Sutter Creek Ranch development team under the existing specific plan, which is the Gold Rush plan, for 150 homes. And so we're starting to process that. That'll be working its way through the system.
Tom, I just want to say in both of those things, I, for one, am going to need education as we go along to understand what was said, what was agreed upon, what's legal, what's not legal, all that kind of business. I don't know much about that.
Yeah, and so I thought today, one thing, since we had a little time tonight, this is going to be in a couple of weeks. The Broadmeadow appeal is what's called a quasi-judicial item. It's a little bit different than your typical action item as a council. Typically, you guys are legislating, you're making new policy, reviewing things, oversight. Something like an appeal, you guys are really sitting as judges, and you're basically ruling if a project meets the existing ordinance. So it's not a time to create new ordinances. And after I got through this, Derek, if you have some comments too, but so again, you're going to be applying the existing ordinances. A quasi-judicial hearing requires several things. So it requires proper notice, which is why we had to push it out till the 29th. We had to do the public notice and make sure we got it published in the paper and that kind of thing. It's an opportunity for everyone that has an interest to speak and be heard. You have to, it requires full disclosure of the facts. So if you guys have conversations with either the developer or with residents, you should be keeping track of that. At the beginning of the item on the 29th, you should disclose, you should say, I met with so-and-so, and whether they told you something that's not in the public record in the staff report. So you could say, I met so-and-so and I didn't learn anything that's not already in the staff report, or, they told me something that nobody knows about. And then, and that includes if you go walk the street or drive on the street, you can say, I went out and looked at the site. And then it needs to be impartial. So you should be careful about making public statements that suggest you've already made a decision before the meeting. You're supposed to go into the meeting with an open mind, hear the facts, make a decision. And then you should decide on the facts, and the staff report will be clear. We'll be asking you guys whether you can make the required findings or not. And if you can't, you should say, I'm voting against this because I can't make finding number 3 for this reason, that kind of thing. So I just wanted to go over that. It's a little bit different. If there is a potential lawsuit in the future, like kind of what you say and how you go through it is important.
Tom, when you talk about findings, it sounds like these are findings that you have come to and or someone has
There are
come to?
findings listed in the municipal code.
Okay,
So
That-
like it doesn't endanger public safety.
okay,
Um,
okay. And these are in the record, existing findings. And then you will identify what we have to agree with or disagree with in order to come to a conclusion.
Right.
Okay.
Will we get, any information?
You will get, yeah, I mean, there's been a series of meetings, so you'll get the planning commission staff report.
Do we have to do that?
No, it'll be part of the packet we will give you. Will be, well, probably a week before the meeting. We'll give you kind of, really, we're not much has happened since the planning commission meeting. So we'll kind of give you a summary, and then we'll kind of attach all these past reports that you can look at.
That's the city.
Yeah. I mean, you can go look at the planning commission agenda now and read the reports from there. It's going to be a copy of that report. So. Derek, anything to add?
If we do go back and read or listen to the planning commission meetings, though, what we're going to do that day is not the same orders that the planning commission had, right? Am I
It-
understanding that correctly?
It is. It's an appeal of the planning commission decision. So, I mean, I'm not necessarily suggesting you watch the meeting, you can, but the actual staff report will list everything about the project and the findings that need to be made. And then they voted against it, which is the conclusion. I mean, you're welcome to listen to the discussion.
But the planning commission also had to, take these steps and, list their findings and why they voted no, or,
They're supposed to, yeah.
okay.
I didn't see that in the minutes. I just saw that they had
So-
denied it.
I don't want to, we're starting to delve in a little bit
Okay.
into the merits.
Yeah.
We will make sure you get a full summary of what happened, and both planning staff, Tom and I will share with you the issues so that you can make an informed and decision. We'll make sure that that's there. And again, I emphasize what Tom said, you are quasi judicial because this was a denial of a map. And that means you're acting somewhat like judges. You have to decide the facts based, on the evidence that you receive as you feel the law requires you to do. But we'll walk you through all of that.
But I think our starting point, since it's an out is to determine, I think, two things. One, why the reason behind denial. Two,
Yeah, so again, tonight I just wanted to kind of introduce the idea of this type of meeting and the process. Wasn't really to get into that specific item. But again, they were making a recommendation to you. You guys are actually the deciding body. So. And just last thing, I mean, the county fair occurred, the Barbera Wine Festival was this weekend. I think they both seem to be pretty successful to me, though I don't have much to compare to. And then a couple other things. If you've noticed, we rebuilt the fence in the city parking lot. Looks pretty nice, I think. And we're looking at doing the other side as well. So, you guys have any questions? Oh, I think, and then just upcoming events. So tomorrow night is Night to Unite. Police and fire department will be in front of City Hall. There's going to be, I think, barbecue and popcorn if you guys want to come out. And then we have the Ragtime Festival this coming weekend. And then the Fireman's Ball at the end of the month. I'm sorry, Jim, I left off your beer festival. What date was that?
Sorry, the meeting's tomorrow night, Wednesday night, planning meeting for it. I'll go again. I'll pick.
Yeah, things are picking up though. We're getting busy. And concert September 13th and then Feast at the Foundry on the 21st.
What time is the night to you guys?
Um,
6.
6.
Is that it, Tom? Thank you. We have a presentation here, but I don't see a presenter. Oh, I do. Oh, sorry. No, I thought you were a person from the ledger. Okay, all right.
Thanks.
I know. Turn this off, so, okay, we're good. Awesome, I'm so glad it's, okay. Good evening, council. My name is Mia Huss, and I'm the K-16 Outreach and Enrollment Technician for Amador College Connect. And like you've already noticed, I am a reporter for the Ledger. I do a little bit of both, outreach coordinator by day, journalist by night. So that's kind of what we're going along here. I've been working closely with Andrew Gardner, if you're familiar. He's our K-16 Grant Program Director, and we've been working really hard on this program. I'm 4 weeks into the position, and it's been great working with him and sharing this information with everyone. Next slide, please. So why am I here? Well, I wanted to share with you guys the important programs that Amador College Connect offers, because these are very crucial to share with the public, students of any age, really. So even if one of you wanted to go back to college, this would be a good time to hear information. Next slide, please. And just a little bit about me, so you know who the heck I am. I am a college graduate. I'm 20 years old. I grew up in Amador County my entire life. I am a Sac State graduate, and I just love working in higher education and helping people connect to the resources they need. It's the most rewarding work in the world, being able to see someone get a college degree, and it's just a beautiful thing. Next slide, please. So what we're going to quickly go over is just a quick overview of Amador College Connect. That'll be quick, and then we'll cover the grant that funds this program, and then the third is going to be the new programs that we are offering. Next slide, please. So what is Amador College Connect? So for many of you who might not know, it's a free resource for students who want to attend college of any age. So we service a lot of dual enrollment students from both high schools, even Calaveras County. We also do exam proctoring, enrollment, registration, career mentorship, peer mentorship, any college advice. There's so many things that we can offer. And we have scholarship opportunities with the Jackson Rancheria and the Mental Health Services Act, and there's many other scholarship opportunities that we provide as well. Next slide, please. So in order to understand these programs that I am in charge of, it's important to know how they're being funded. So it is funded by the Regional K-16 Education Collaboratives Grant. It is a state program in conjunction with the California Community Colleges. And basically, we offer free one-year pathways with this grant money for people who are interested in health, computer science, technology, and education. We have been given the funds to focus on computer science and technology and early childhood education. So these programs that I'm about to show you are funded by this grant with the state. Next slide, please. All right, so the first one is the Computer Science and Technology program. It's a free one-year program to earn a career technical certificate. It's a very fancy technological term that I don't even understand. Computer science is not my thing. But this is really great for students who are interested in a growing STEM field, which is something that I didn't realize we needed in this county, but with Volcano Communications and many other places around the county, they need workers, and we have students who are interested in the STEM field, and this is a great way to get people interested. So this program, like I said, is free. It's 1 year, and you take 3 courses in the fall 2024 semester. We are working with Columbia College to take these courses online, and there's only a small 2-hour portion where students come to Amador College Connect on site, and they're going to learn how to build a computer from the scratch, bottom up, learn about fiber optics, and do a lot of hands-on. Next slide, please. So again, with this program, after they finish the fall semester, they're going to have 2 courses in the spring semester listed up there. And after they complete those courses in the spring, they're going to be doing a 3-week on-the-job training with Volcano Communications up in Pine Grove. That's from June 9th to the 27th. And I have also heard that they're going to be doing some very exciting things that I still don't understand because I don't know anything about technology, shockingly. But I've just heard amazing things from Volcano about the plans that they have for these students. And right now, we have an on-site computer lab. We're working on revamping it. It was a previous owner had that space in our office, and now we're just revamping it to make it a nice computer lab for our students to come in and use those resources. We'll also have peer mentorship, study groups, tutoring opportunities. So if students find themselves struggling, we can help them with that. And after they complete this program, they receive a $500 reward just because, literally just because they finish it. I was very confused. I thought, you mean I can go to college for free and then get a reward for doing so? I mean, that's a pretty cool deal. So it's pretty exciting. Next slide, please. And then the next one is the Early Childhood Education Program. Again, a free 1-year program. This is for people looking to achieve an assistant teaching permit, which allows you to work in early childhood education, daycares, Head Start, First 5, places like that. You receive that permit in a year. So really fast track type of thing. I couldn't believe it myself when I was learning about it when the very first week I was there. In the fall semester, students will be taking 2 child development courses listed there, Child 1 and Child 22. And one of them's in the fall. First one in the fall, Child 1. Next one in the spring, Child 22. After they complete those, they still might have some hours they need to fulfill because during these times, while they're filling out these courses and filling out other requirements for that, they're doing 200 hours of on-the-job training. So that could be with the school district, it could be with Head Start, First 5. We have some students who work at the Sutter Creek Primary with young kids. We have students working all throughout the district, even in Calaveras County, they can get their hours that way, just as long as they're working with young children. So if they have some hours left, they'll take the July, June time of next summer to finish those hours off. They just apply for the certificate and receive it. So it's a really great deal. And we're working with the Resource Connection, Amador, and Calaveras Child Care Councils to make sure all these students have a place to work. And we're making sure everyone's getting paid while doing it. So you're not doing free labor, which is something that you need to convince people of doing because people don't like free labor nowadays. I don't. So next slide, please. All right. And then those are all of our logos of our partners for this program. There's a lot. Those courses, again, will be provided by Columbia College. And we have on-site computers if needed. This class is going to be strictly online. They never need to come in or do anything. So from the comfort of their home, on the go, wherever they find the need to do this course, they can do it there. And we, again, have peer mentorship, tutoring, study sessions. I'm organizing a group study session because I found out they have weekly quizzes, which is the worst if you're in college. So we're trying to make sure all those students have the support that they need. And again, the $500 completion award. And I've heard from the Resource Connection and other daycare providers in the county that they provide incentives too. So I don't know how big those incentives are, but money is money. So if you complete something for free and you can get money, I don't know. It sounds great to me. Next slide, please. And so our enrollment numbers for the ECE pathway, we're trying to have 25 or less just because this is the very first time we're doing this. As of now, today, I have just a little over 10 students and I've only been here for 4 weeks. So I'm very proud of myself, not to toot my own horn. And then for the ECE, the computer science pathway, apologies. The computer science pathway, we're only gonna have 10 students because with Volcano, they don't have big staff to host all of these students. So it's gonna be a very small cohort and I already have 5 students for that. So we're halfway there and the semester begins August 26th. So we have a few more weeks to get those students and I'm feeling pretty confident about that because they come in and they're super pumped to start this program. And the most rewarding part of this, and I think you guys would appreciate this as well, is just the diverse student. Like there's so many. I have a student coming back to school. She started 1 semester of college when she was 20. She's 65 years old and she's coming back to achieve the ECE pathway because she said, what the heck? I'm tired of sitting around. I want to do something for me. And it just makes me so happy to see members of our community bettering themselves and doing it for nothing. It's free. And it's an absolutely amazing service and resource that I've seen students from Sutter Creek, Pine Grove, Ione, Jack, anywhere you can imagine in this county, we have one student representing that area. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to service these students. Next slide, please. And you have my contact information and you have the flyers. So if you want to spread the word, that would be amazing. I mean, it's just cool to share this resource and information to others. And I just really hope that you guys are inspired by these students and the amazing power of this community. So I appreciate it and thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you guys have any questions for her?
The acronym STEM, what does that stand for?
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So Mia, is this the first year for the program?
Yeah, so we're funded for 2 years by the state. And so this is our very first year. And basically my goal with this, like, this is my entire job, is to oversee these things. It's my baby pretty much. I'm planning to take notes on this year and see how we go, how enrollment works out, and see what we can improve for the next year. So we have 2 years to figure it out, and hopefully we'll have even more funding and see this program flourish for years to come.
In your outreach, are you reaching out to people at First Five and people, existing providers and things like that to see who they might know that's interested?
Yes,
Yeah.
so it's really cool, actually. I've had one of the first students that joined the program. First, I talked to First Five on Monday, and Tuesday morning I got a call, hey, I want to join your program. So it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So we've been talking to all these people in the community, and high schools, counselors, career counselors, all of
Good.
them. Yeah.
Great.
It has been involving also the childcare company because they have representative from state preschool that.
Right.
Yeah.
My time to talk.
Exactly. And we're even talking to, because the grant does cover Alpine County. So even if there were students up there, I mean, these rural communities need resources like this. And it's just an absolutely amazing thing.
That's great.
Thanks so much, Mia. Okay, item 6 is the approval.
One more question. Is this the same program that used to be run at, provided at the ACTC building? They used to do, community college classes there, or is this separate from that? Or do you know?
I'm not sure. I mean, I am not 100% sure, but I do know that Amador College Connect has been around the county in a few different places, so
Okay.
it could be.
And
Yes.
you're right there, what used to be the feed store and
So we're so it's
the driveway goes, kind of drops down into.
yeah, and it's
Yeah,
like a
okay.
cul-de-sac. The Chamber of Commerce used to be there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Item 6 is the approval of the minutes from July 22nd. Did anyone have any comments or edits?
I did not.
I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 The consent agenda to appoint Tom as a voting delegate for Cal Cities. I'd hear a motion to go ahead and approve that.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. There's no public hearing. The first item on the administrative agenda is the engineering report for Crestview Estates. Yeah, let's, Tom, did you want to start us off with the staff report?
Wanna do it? So this is something, I think it was supposed to come to you guys annually. Hasn't come in several years, and this is really just a lighting district, and the PG&E bills have exceeded the revenue. So it's primarily to pay the PG&E bills for the streetlights in Crestview. Yep.
Is there a reason why it hasn't come?
I tried to find out, I couldn't find one. We thought, so we looked into kind of the legal docs and everything. It seemed like we just stopped at some point, so.
we were under the impression originally that there might have been a cap set, but we didn't think that that would have been the case. That'd be a weird thing to set a cap for. So there was never a cap set. So it is odd that it just stopped one year and it never kept coming back.
So is there a summary of like this, why Crestview Estates has this special lighting arrangement? Versus other pockets like the we have city lights.
Yeah, I think again, when we form a subdivision, we should really be forming a CFD, a community finance district. That hadn't always been done. It was done at Crestview. And I think it's a good policy, basically.
So then my question, follow up, if this is being done in Crestview, is it also foreseeable?
When you say Meadowcrest, you mean Golden Hills?
We have, we have the very
Yeah.
similar lights.
So I'm not 100% sure. I think they're hard to do after the fact. I don't know, Derek, you wanna
Setting up
say-
a CFD?
Yeah, for
It's usually a
streetlights.
condition of approval for a.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it, you need 2/3 of the owners of the home, I mean,
So that was
it's an
done-
election, yeah.
So that was done when Crestview was established.
Yes, you usually do it up front, right? And there's one voter, the owner.
Because that was my question. This could be a surprise. So
No, it's always been there.
It's
I mean,
been,
it was being updated annually, so it might be a little surprise because it hasn't been updated recently. But
So that would explain why it's a fairly significant increase because it's just been remained flat since the last one.
right.
Okay.
you brought in the 66, 62 per parcel. That comes up to the 35, 3,010, 51. Yet budget that we went through, total expenditures for Crestview, was $1,000.
we did update, that was an item that we had talked about when we approved the budget that needed to be revised. So it's been revised. It's not that number anymore. Because a lot of that was the overhead for my department and that was significantly reduced. Yeah.
So the 35, 31, compared to the current revenue of 26. Is that accurate? That's big wrong for us. I'm just wondering, is this
Yeah.
enough increase to cover the costs?
Sure. So the budget, I didn't have the PG numbers together yet when we put the budget together. So that took the 53, assuming the 53 stayed. That would be the revenue we'd expect if every parcel paid. After looking at the PG&E bills, this figure that we came up with takes into account the PG&E costs plus a scaling factor. I think it did 5% for next year, let's just say. Cost for repairs and maintenance in Crestview for the lights. And in the prior years, we hadn't been accounting for the public hearing notice costs or the engineering costs, but little as it might be, still costs related to it. And then a contingency cost. And so all that factored in together, I just made the rate that they're paying to equal what it might, because it should ideally break even. They should just be paying to cover the lights and any improvements or repairs that might need to be done. It depends. It fluctuates based on the costs for each year to year, because we're budgeting that it might cost 66, 62 per parcel to pay for this, but it might come under, it might come over. So we're gonna see how it goes.
But it's been negative. There's no reserve in the Crestview Lighting District.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I said.
Yep.
There's always been a negative balance. Like,
I'm sorry, the Prop 218 limit that we're dealing with what is the ceiling?
Meaning what?
Meaning we're not following a Prop 218 process, so is that because, what was the original assessment?
From last year.
Correct, because if we go above the Prop 218 limit, we have to do a Prop 218 process. We have to do an assessment ballot proceeding.
Even though the lighting district already exists?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you have
It'd
to
just
follow.
be like doing a sewer rate increase. or
Yeah,
something.
well, it's an assessment though. That's a
Yeah.
fee.
Oh, that's a
That's
fee.
a fee. So I don't, maybe we could check with the engineer offline, call it a public hearing, but we need to
That's probably why we stopped doing it.
check with them.
Could be.
Do you want to come back to this then when we resolve
should-
that?
The problem, we're trying to get on the,
Next meeting.
yeah, because there's an August 10th deadline. No. We're not gonna get on this year's secured tax roll, are we? Are we- For this lighting district, we're putting this on the tax roll?
No, this isn't for the tax roll.
Okay,
Mm-mm.
how do we collect these?
We do an assessment in April every year to the parcel owners, property owners. We send a bill to their
Okay.
addresses and we collect the fees.
We just collect it ourselves?
Mhm.
Okay, all
Correct.
right, okay,
And they paid this April's.
Mhm, correct.
okay.
But delinquent parcels do go to tax roll like a sewer is?
Not right now.
Not right now?
Not right now. Nope. We just send an invoice each year. If they have a balance, carries over to the following year and we request the payment. Mhm.
But I just have one more to do. Is there any plan of discussion?
Haven't heard any proposal, but that's for sale, right? Not
For
lot.
sale.
Mhm, correct, yep. But I haven't heard anything.
I had one comment on the resolution on number 4. It dates the public hearing as today, which is not what we're doing today.
Hmm.
So that needs to be corrected too. I assume it's the next meeting.
Yeah.
So it's correct in the staff report, but on page 11 in the resolution. 11, number 4.
Thank you.
Then I
Could you point me where that is again? Oh, thank you. Oh, there shouldn't be anything after that. I believe that what it used to say on an old one was that they were gonna install LED lights, which was done a few years ago. But 2 should probably remain, but it should just truncate after there are no proposed improvements or substantial changes in the existing, and it should just truncate. It should just end. Mm-hmm.
And then number 6 does address the 218 process. Derek, did you catch that?
Says they're exempt.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand why the consultant is saying that, so we'll confirm that offline.
So if that's the case, should we put this
Shelf it.
off?
No.
No? Okay.
So all we need to do is add. basically the-
Yeah, truncate 2, change the date on 4.
that should be
Right.
No,
Not
not
20,
Not the
like
same.
any-
yeah. Or something. So the resolution is just to bring this to a public hearing,
And to make those 2 changes.
to make, yeah.
I make a motion that we approve the resolution as amended.
I said,
There's a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. B is the capital facilities fee nexus study.
Yeah, so if you guys remember, when we did impact fees this year, we were doing them off of an engineering index for a number of years, and the council requested we do a nexus study. So this is just that contract. Really just wanted to bring it to you guys just as an update, and it's going to be covered by remaining LEAP funds, so it won't have a budget impact. We're under a bit of a gun. We need to incur those expenses, I think by September.
So,
So,
yeah, end of September would be the deadline. We need to have these services done.
yeah,
That's when the grant expires.
right. But,
Well, it's fortunate we asked you to do that.
well, we had the funds, so we were looking for a way to use them. And since you guys requested this, we checked and it qualifies. And we contacted 3 consultants. Turns out the one that we're going with is actually the one that did the Nexus, the last Nexus study for Sutter Creek. So they're familiar and say they can get it done.
I was curious, ask a question about it, Tom. I was curious, it mentions police facilities, fire facilities, historical facilities, city hall building, corporation yard facilities. But I don't see parks or rec are included in this nexus. So I'm
There
wondering,
is a Parks and Rec fee. There's 2. There's a local one and then there's one that goes to.
I know
Akron.
there are,
Yeah.
but in this scope of work,
Yeah.
it's
it
not
should
included,
be
I
in
don't
there.
think.
Okay.
So check it out. Just, there's a listing of those things and I took that directly from the.
I had the same question. And then also, as they do this study, could it potentially result in different categories of nexus fees? I think that was, one of our underlying questions.
Yeah, so we
What-
started to have that discussion, like, whether maybe we even combine some of these fees. And maybe there's a city facilities fee instead of being as specific as city hall versus corporate yard. But yeah, that's one thing we're gonna look at.
Yeah.
If we change the fees, I mean, we have to keep, not that there's a lot of money there, but we have to keep the past fees separate for that purpose. And then any new development, we could
I see.
create new fees.
I had a question on bottom B2 task 4, impact fee analysis. It says, once the city has finalized the list of capital improvements to be included in the. Do we have that one?
We have a capital improvement plan list, yes.
These are categories, right, that you're referring to? Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
I think my last one was fire facilities. Not that I thought it necessarily needed to be removed, but, we're accustomed to fire not being on our city stuff.
Yeah, so that's a pass-through impact fee. Like, there's a regional street impact fee that also gets passed through,
Okay.
and the regional park fee.
And it gets passed through to Sutter Creek Fire Protection District.
The last question I had was just a clarification on second. Within coordination. The benefit areas /
I'm sorry, where are you?
Page A2, task 2,
Okay.
second paragraph. Last sentence.
I wonder if this is just a boilerplate type of.
It's a little complex sentence, but yeah. So I think it's kind of what we were talking about, like, should the types of impact fees change? And then what do they apply to which zones? So if I'm reading it right. So I'm kind of like at a fee zone is a little weird, but
Right.
So if it's a fee, so for example, right now, we don't have any impact fees if you build public storage. And then, you know, so there's different categories of zoning and uses, and then I think there's a golf course fee that's like $180,000 or something.
Mhm.
So those were
Yep.
decided upon at some point in the past. But it'll be up to you guys if you want to leave them as is.
We also have impact fee categories that only apply if you build within certain regions. Like I'll take Mesa de Oro, for example. Like if you build within Mesa de Oro, there's an additional impact fee that you pay to go towards Mesa de Oro development or improvements. So I'm wondering if that is also a part of that. That's a region, almost like a subdivision, but not really.
Because it talks, continues that sentence, continues that through the land.
So like what Mason is just saying, for instance, that area, then they would look at that area and ask, is that still reasonable? Does it make sense? And if so, should we do anything other than what we've already done to clarify what the requirement is and how much money might be charged in that sense? I guess those are the kind of things that, since I don't see things like parks and this and that, I just want to make sure that at the end of the day, they're going to provide everything we need to answer the questions that we had and not miss any categories that aren't listed here.
Parks is a big one.
Yeah, parks is a big one.
Especially the origin of the park fee. I think there's been some question about that.
Tom, will the fire district be involved in working with the staff to provide the consultant with information?
Yeah,
Are they
I think-
aware of this study? I mean, there is a fire facilities component, so it seems logical that they would have a voice in this process, or?
I mean, I can
understand.
reach out to them. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's,
I mean, how would we know what fire facilities are needed if we don't involve them
Yeah.
in the
yeah, you're right.
process?
Since that's what these fees are supposed to be supporting, is future needs, yeah?
Right. It's good feedback.
I guess one more question. I lied. What would the timeline on this be and how does it apply? Said we have a couple applications on the books. So would it be likely that, well, how does that timing work? You know, if we go
It's
through
usually
this,
the
and
time the application's deemed complete. So-
would, so like, or could possibly the old fees apply to these new? Okay.
And then I guess the last thing I'd say is if there was any type of building you wanted to incentivize, you know, and again, we don't have a lot of development, but impact fees are a way you could do that. So you could say, you know, we really want another hotel or we want a car dealership, and you could lower the impact fees for that.
So that's interesting. So that makes me think that, well, once we get all this, then maybe that would be the time to be looking at that to see if you want to make any, you know, special deals to incentivize particular types of business, or would you?
Yeah, but, and this is a very kind of gross tool, right?
Sure.
I mean, you could always,
Yeah.
but I just wanted to, I don't see us tweaking a lot of things, but I
Yeah.
just did want to kind of mention that
Uh-huh.
sometimes cities say, you know, we really want to incentivize certain kind of
Right.
project.
I guess what I'm asking is that information we should give these folks while they're doing it, or is afterwards okay?
I think you can do it afterwards.
Okay.
You can look at where the numbers come out. And again,
Cool.
we'll see if the numbers come out where the engineering indexes put us, right? They
Okay.
may actually drop.
Okay. Yeah, then we have more definitive information and timely at that point. Okay. Good.
Great. This was just for our information and direction. Any other questions? Did you need anything from us, Tom?
No, it's good feedback. So got that.
Item 10, Mayor and Council Member Reports. Jim?
No.
Dan?
Let's see. Julia mentioned some business last time about the bike ped thing, and I had a subsequent meeting with John Gedney. Is now the right time to report on that? Yeah. So I went to clarify with him, Julia, what was going on, and his explanation is that what he's saying is not different than what he said all along, which is ACTC will fund a shovel-ready project, but they will not fund the engineering and the planning required to get the project shovel-ready. So to that end, he's absolutely willing to spend ACTC money now on an hourly engineer to create an estimate for an estimate, if you know what I mean. And so he would get more specific about what it is you really want. At that point, Sutter Creek and Amador City would be able to review what he's provided and see that, well, to get this thing engineered and the planning done, looks like it might cost $30,000. Are you guys willing to split that money and move forward with this thing or not? And then at that point, the city can ask itself yes or no.
And that's what point, and that's what I was getting to say, is that it's not free money to move forward with this project.
Right, but we don't have to come up with an alternate project at this point. We can get all the work that you guys have done, we could.
Discussing,
Mhm.
there are things that we can do internally in our city that would not require us to go that route of splitting the engineering planning.
Well, if you're going to bring a project to ACTC, we're going to need to pay for engineering and planning. And ACTC is really interested in spending that 400,000 and doing a bike ped project that would include Amador City, Sutter Creek, and the county. That's an integral part to see how all that business can work. So they want to do it, but we'd have to do our part.
And that's what I was saying, that it isn't necessarily a project. That was my only point from the last. But
Okay. Yeah.
There is interest, high interest in moving forward with this.
Right.
But at what expense, either to the cities, is making a difference on which route we actually. We have a meeting coming up.
Good. I think that's all I had, except, is agenda items another time, or is that now?
It's another time.
Thank you.
Julia? Me, there is still work being done. I'm a part of it, not as council, just in another function, to get the duck race back, and it's clicking along with the support of Native Sons and Benefit Foundation and the city. I
Great.
think it's going to happen, and we'll keep you guys informed.
That's great, Claire.
City Attorney's report, Derek.
No report.
Future agenda items, Dan.
I don't have anything. No, I'm kidding. So at one point, we talked about getting our enforcement guy to come and bring us up to speed on what's happening. I would suggest we do that sooner rather than later now.
Julia? Jim?
No.
There's no information and correspondence, so we'll go ahead and adjourn into closed session. Thank you.
6:57, ladies and gentlemen.